Alright, hello, I am Wallaber, and I wanted to try out doing something different here with maybe once in a while doing a little stream of dev work on the game I'm working on called Pro Gymnast, which is a action acrobatics simulation game. I've got the game running right now here. This is actually the level editor, and these are ones I've been working on recently. And yeah, I thought it would be good to work on the game and maybe share some of the development of it and test out this whole sort of dev blogging kind of streaming thing. So I guess we'll just kind of jump right into it. So Pro Gymnast is oh man, it's a game I'm working on for a while now. It's sort of like Trials HD or something like that, except you're a gymnast. And so you got the same sort of Trials HD side view, these sort of tricky physics levels, and the same sort of physics-based gameplay. Although in this game, obviously you're not on a motorcycle. You're a gymnast. Let's see if I can wiggle this mat across. I'm gonna fall off. There it is. Obviously this is sort of a silly level here where I've put the mats on these slidey platforms and trying to, there we go, get over to this farther mat so that I can grab the rope and complete the level. Now this is a level I built here in the editor. The editor is part of the game, will come with the game, and every level I've made was built with the editor that people can also make their own levels with, so no cheating. Right, so you can kind of move things around. You can go like this and bring up the palette of options and add different things into levels. There's a little trampoline, a little hard to see from the side view, but when I go like this you can see it. And each level has different things you can set, like the location takes place, what kind of level it is, and then the way you earn medals and progress in the game is by completing the level, beating the level faster than the time, beating the level with a higher score than the score requirement, or finding the chalk, which actually, that reminds me, this level does not have the hidden chalk collectible, which is this. So it's this sort of giant cube of chalk, which I can place somewhere interesting to give an optional challenge for the level. Now this level is going to be a little interesting because it's fairly fixed path you take. You come down here, you slide around here, you catch onto this thing, and then you swing around and launch yourself over to here. So this launch path is probably the most interesting place to put this, considering that once you come down here, yeah, you pretty much go straight for this. Now I could add a spot here where I want you to try and like jump off the mat. That might be kind of interesting. Let's see. So if I put it like right here, let's test this out. Ooh. Oh. There we go. Ooh. Seems to be getting caught a little bit. Oh, hit my head. One of the things you'll see I'm doing when I'm playing the game is slowing down time, which is something you can do. You hold L1, the time slows down, you get this little like trajectory preview. As long as you're holding L1, you can slow down time. So let's see, if I wanted to get this, I would want to land kind of like on my seat here so that I can reach up like on a roll. Oh, no. Oh, that looks pretty doable though. Yeah. I like that spot actually. Alright, so let's save this. And this is one I was working on the other day. This one's quite difficult. You're gonna drop, catch onto this, and then you want to work your way over to this other one. Oh. You see that the gymnast can get knocked out if their head gets hit too hard. Okay. Oh, missed it. Okay. Oh, that's not going to work. Get a little bit of a swing. There we go. Okay. Now, of course, I would want to be able to keep my momentum here, but you can build momentum back up. That's quite a pose. So now we got to figure out a way to get across to the bar over there. Okay, here we go. We got a little bit of a swing going now. Oh, don't kill it now. That's going nowhere, except to the ground. Alright, so one of the things I was noticing about the game is that, well, it's super hard. That might be kind of obvious. And one of the reasons it's hard is because you have a pretty small window to grab onto things, right? So if I put a bar here, and I put another bar here, right? And I say, okay, player, I want you to jump from this bar to this bar, right? I mean, first of all, it's kind of hard because you got to learn how to build up swing, which I have a tutorial for that, of course. Let's say I've got the swing up and I let go like that. And look at this, I'm pretty close, but my hands, you know, weren't in the right spot. Like that, to catch onto that bar, I need that small little thing called my hands to overlap with that bar. Like that, right? And of course, once you get used to it, it's not super hard. But it is a pretty punishing way to get started, especially if you know, just mess up a flip like this. And you're like, oh, I had the right trajectory, but I couldn't catch it. And for quite a while, I wasn't really sure if there's anything I could do about that. You can see here that I've got different kinds of bars, but they're all small bars. I've got these like swinging ones, but that's the same problem, right? If I put this in here and run it, like now it's actually harder because we have a timing element where you need to try and get over to that bar when it's in the right spot. You can have a lot of close calls like that, which are dramatic, so I don't mind that, but and then we've got things like these are slightly easier, right? Because this is like an example of something where there's 4 places you can grab on. So you can be a little less accurate with how you come flying over here. And, you know, maybe hopefully grab onto something, right? But these are very difficult to get swing going because you kind of have that problem where it's spinning and you're spinning, and so they're a little tricky from that point of view. So now by far, and the thing I've been kind of relying on the most here, when I want to make a jump easy or easier, is the rope, right? Because the rope is this big straight line. You can touch it anywhere and catch onto it, even if you just sort of, and you won't collide with it too, which is nice. So you can sort of fling yourself through it. See how my legs pass through, and then I grab it. So that's nice, but it has kind of the same problem as those rotating ones, which is that once you catch onto it, it's pretty hard to get swing going, and so transitioning from this like to some next piece of the level can be quite difficult. And you know, so I've actually kind of ended up putting this as the last obstacle in a lot of levels, where if I mark this as the level goal, you see it gets this little like checkered flag graphic on it, and now, you know, grabbing that marks the end of the level. So that's a good way to make the end of the level not too difficult. Boom. But making it somewhere in the middle is good because you don't have to be as accurate with jump, but then it makes the jump after it, or whatever transition comes after it, harder. So today, what I'm thinking I want to try is something kind of like parallel bars. So rather than a bar coming in and out of the screen that you grab onto like this, I put two bars like this, and the gymnast can catch onto them like they would parallel bars in gymnastics. And I like that because you'll be able to swing around it like a regular bar, but it's a big target where you could touch it anywhere and latch onto it. So that's what we're going to try building now. So this is the unflattering view of the game when it's not running. And let's try, so I can show real quick some of the other props, what they look like authored. So like here's a basic bar, and it's got this weird white thing which it doesn't show in the main game view. This is actually just for creating the little thumbnails when you save a level. So you kind of ignore that. Let's actually go in here and look at this. So you've got the thumbnail, and then you have the basic actual bar itself, which has a bunch of scripts on it, including a rigid body, and I think this is the this is the main rigid body here. Now where is the turn the gizmos on, there we go. Right, so there's the collider. This is a different collider. This is for the editor, so you can attach logic. Now let's see. So in this case, this is something you can collide with, this main bar. I have it set to the interactable layer, and you got a capsule collider on there, rigid body, and then the joint, because they have a little bit of a spring to them, which allows you to kind of fling off the bars. And the actual visual of this thing is sort of decoupled. Where is it? This bone here, you can move this like this. So as the thing flexes, I sort of move that in place. I have to figure out how I'm going to do that for the parallel bars, because they're a little bit different. But let's take a look at, I recently made a split bar, is that probably under S down here? Let's see. Nope, what did I call it? Let's go back to props here. So you got the basic bar, you got the free bar. Where is it? Pass-through bar, there it is. So this one looks like this and communicates that the gymnast body can pass through but can still grab onto it. This is a little closer to what I need, and you can see I made this work by having this thing called interactable hand only layer, so that only the gymnast's hands will collide with it. So this is close to what I want. Alright, so let's just make a simple one here. Test this out. So we'll create, we're going to call this oops. I'm going to call this, why does that not work? We're going to call this parallel bars. Okay. And where is that right now? So let's put it over here somewhere. Okay. So this thing is going to look like, it's going to have a capsule collider. But normally, when I make these, I would put them this way to kind of act like a bar. But I'm going to put it this way to be a long, skinny thing that you can catch onto. Let's try. I mean, parallel bars are usually pretty long, probably about that long. Okay. Now, just to test this out, we're going to put this on the hand only layer, and then this thing needs to be grabbable, so we put a grabbable component on. free spin, that's correct. Ooh, now actually, let's take a look at this. Gotta remind myself how some of this stuff works, even though I made it. Yeah, okay. So, I'll leave that like this for a second, but it's not gonna work how I want. Now, let's make it so we can see this. Let's get a visual capsule here, take off the collider. Okay, and I think I had this at 0.05. Like 3, 0.05. Ooh, no, maybe 1.5. Okay, that looks gross. Why is that? Yeah, I guess just because it's stretched so much. That's okay. Let's make it a cylinder for now. Okay, it's like default cylinder. There we go. Okay. That should match the size pretty good. Okay. So here's our crappy parallel bar. And it's just in the center right now, which looks dumb, but I'll fix that. Okay, so now if we put the gymnast in here and I hit play, I should grab onto it. We're going to have a lot of things we have to clean up to make this work better. But the basic idea is there, and see, I could grab on here. Okay, so first problem. The hands snap to the center of the parallel bars no matter where you grab them. This gives you a lot of swing. That's kind of cool, but not what I want. Alright, so what I need is, let's actually go see, what do I have that's already using this? Okay. I must have some things that inherit. Yeah, like bungee rings, for example. Oh, right, it has a grabbable ring, which is this. These. So what I have is I have this base class called grabbable, which is anything that the gymnast can grab onto. And it's got some methods you can override here. For example, get grab anchor point, so you can decide where does the hand attach to the object. Basically what happens is if the hand overlaps with the collider of the grabbable, then it asks the grabbable where should the hand attach. And it gives it an opportunity to have some point of view on that with this function here. And then there's other options down here which control how the hands orient and align while you're hanging onto it, which I'm going to have to do for this eventually as well. Let me see what other examples I've made. Like a rope has a grabbable segment, which actually, let's take a look at that. So grabbable segment knows that it's a long, thin thing, and it finds the nearest point along itself as the grab, and then it has some, yeah, this might be close to what we want. Let's try getting rid of grabbable and do grabbable, whoops, do grabbable segment. There we go. Okay, and allow upside down grab. Yeah, I think we want that. Oh, that's interesting. Is that a grabbable thing? Yeah, it is. And the grab type. Yeah, so we want free spin. You can grab it wherever you want. Right, local grab axis. So in this case, We want local space. It's the x-axis. We want that. Max offset. Not going to worry about that right now. Horizontal grab. Oh, that's going to be for placing the hand, so let's leave that. Okay, let's test this. Alright, so same basic test. Let's put ourselves on the edge here. Okay. Now we've grabbed it on the back. And grab there again. Ooh. Caught onto the edge. Let's try to jump forward to the other side. Nice. Okay, so that's kind of the logic. Hands are all messed up. The hands are messed up because I'm using a script right now that thought it was for a rope. Specifically. And yeah, so see here, it's got some offsets that it's doing. Or, sorry, here. No, here. It has, yeah, a vertical offset. So one hand is like placed at 0 and another hand is slightly lower. And then there's also a horizontal offset. We don't really want that. In fact, we're going to want the hands spread out and on 2 separate bars. Let's actually make this look like 2 bars. Let's go like this. So this is like left bar. It's going to be 0.4 units away. And then there's going to be a right bar. There's going to be negative. Right, so it looks like that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new script for this. So this is going to be grabbable parallel bars. Okay. Grabbable parallel bars. Okay. So we do need to know the local grab axis. That's correct. We don't need this. Now we're going to say grab width. I think I had it at 0.4. And for now, that's it. Okay, so this is going to be the same. We get the hand, we transform it into local space. We essentially clamp it. Could be doing that slightly better, but okay. We clamp it onto the axis, and actually, yeah, let's do that. Bar length. Bar half length. So this is going to be some number, which we'll set in the inspector. And we want this to be bar half length. Okay. So now, let's simplify the position. Now, how does the base work? It has an offset and then some placement. So this is pretty close to what we want. Yeah. In fact, actually, I think that means that we could just do return base.getHand placement for now. Pass along is left, pass along the hand offset, the body forward vector, the body left vector, and instead of the default offset we're going to give it ours, which is grab width. Okay. And let's not do any fancy hand orientation yet. Okay. Alright, so this is our new script. We're going to go back here to our parallel bars. Oh. What did I do wrong? Oh, it compiled, okay. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. We're going to add this new grabbable parallel bars. So still free spin, upside down grab is fine. And how long is this thing? It is 3 units in each direction. So first of all, the local grab axis is the x-axis 1, 0, 0. And this is going to be 3. And these are offset by 0.4, so that's 0.4 there. Okay, now, might be a little wide, we can fix that. Let's do this. Void on draw gizmos selected. So this will allow us to draw some debug stuff only when the object is selected. And for now we're just going to do a quick thing, which is point A, which is going to be transform point. Oops. And we actually want local grab axis times bar half length. Okay. And then point B, which is going to be negative. And then we can do gizmos dot draw. Oops. Ugh. Gizmos dot. Oh, come on. I feel like my autocomplete's not quite working. Draw a line from A to B. If I got that right. Okay, compiled, and now we can see this white line here, which is actually showing us that I had this wrong. This is only 1.5 in each direction. Okay, and what this value is going to do is decide where the hands can grab. So if I don't want them to be able to grab the very, very edge, I can bring this in a little bit like this. So the collider is still bigger. So if the hand touches even over here, you're going to grab it. But when you grab it, we're going to snap the hands to within the range of this white line, which should be good. Okay, so let's test this. Okay, so now we got 2 bars there, as you can see. And we can catch onto it. That's a step. We can swing around. The hands are kind of placed a little funky. I already like this prop though. This is going to be really great for level design. Oh, missed it. Okay, so let's test the very edge here. So if I put myself like this, and when we fall, just barely catch. Yeah, that seems about right. Let's actually, yeah. Okay, see how the hands are popping in a little bit? So that's good. Oh, it needs to be a little longer, I think. I like that move that gymnasts do where they go like this. And they shoot themselves forward, and then they catch onto the bar up here. Okay. So we're getting somewhere with this. Yeah, this is so cool. This is going to be way better. I don't know why I didn't add the center. Look how fun it is to just mess around. Ugh. Way better. Okay. So, let's go here. What should I do next? So eventually what I need to do is that the bars should have a little give. So I gotta think how I'm going to build that. I think I'll probably segment this into actually 3 parts. And put some joints on it to give it a little flex and give. And then, what else? Obviously I gotta get the hands aligning a little better. Which is gonna be a little tricky. Let's actually look at this in the editor. Okay. So, when we're grabbed on here, okay, it's definitely a little on the wide side. And if I look at the gymnast, where's the gymnast? Right here. It's a little hard to see. Let's see if we can turn this on. Okay. So the red stuff essentially is the gymnast, and you can see that the hand actually has quite a large glider on it. And it is now attached to this bar. And I'm doing all this other junk to pose this 3D character to kind of look like it's actually 3D instead of this 2D simulation I got going on here. Now, so okay. And I think part of the problem, the hands just can't even reach because it's so wide. Which is why it looks like they're sort of orbiting around. So that makes sense. Yeah. And actually, what is my... I've got some default values over here. Where are they? Oh no, it's not here, it's on the avatar. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I'm actually not spreading out the arms nearly as wide when you grab a regular bar. They're 0.12 units, I believe. Yeah, okay. So, let's make this 0.2. 0.2. And then these bars need to know that as well, 0.2. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, pop up here, grab onto it. Okay, now, oh yeah. Okay, that's a lot better. Now, when you see it from other views, it's a little clear that that's pretty narrow. Like if I pause it right when the gymnast is coming through the bars here, you can see that's quite narrow. Looks like I could probably push it a tiny bit. Okay, so let's do 0.25, right? I don't know. Game makers, we like round numbers. Okay. This might be too far. Let's have a look at this. Okay, hands are still able to reach the bars, which is good. And if I pause, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay. Okay, now, I already decided I want this to be a little longer, but should we try and add a little dynamics to it? I think I should. So I think the way we're going to do that is that the parallel bars, the root game object. Actually, let's make this into a prefab before I forget. Okay, prefab props is where we want this. There we go. And I think, yeah, I need a basic prop script on there as well. Let's get that going. Okay, so let's go look at this. Let's add a basic prop. This is my script that essentially registers this prefab as something that you can add into the levels. And I got a bunch of options here. So for example, I'm going to need a thumbnail. I don't have one yet. Object type. This is like where in that add object list it belongs. So I'm going to put this in the normal bar section. It can be added to levels, it can be moved, it can be rotated, it can be removed. When you remove it, it should be deleted. You can touch it in the editor, it should be saved. It can be a level goal, and it has support. So in this case, those are all true. And editor colliders is if I need a special collider to make it so you can grab this thing and manipulate it. I don't think I'll need that in this case, so that should be good. Okay, now, actually I'm going to need it eventually because I'm about to change things, but I'll get back to that. Now, this grabbable. Okay, so we're going to try and break this up into parts. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. And now we're going to make a new capsule. And get rid of the visuals. Okay, so this, I had its radius at 0.05, and now it was, the whole thing was like 3 units total, right? Let's have a look here. Yeah. I want them to be a little bigger though, so let's do 1.5. It's pretty big. Let's try it though. So this is going to be segment center. Okay. This is going to need a rigid body now. And so is the main parallel bars object. Needs a rigid body that's kinematic. This is going to be the body that kind of holds on to everything. Okay, now this guy, mass. Let's see. Let's go look at the regular basic bar. What's its mass? 10. Okay. Now this is bigger. A little bit more moment of inertia. So let's call this thing maybe 12 kilograms. It's probably heavy for an actual parallel bar, but hey, just gotta keep things in the ballpark. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give each one of these its own little temporary visuals. Now these both need to be 1.5 divided by 2. Okay. And then we're going to have another one of these. Let's call this segment left. And it's going to be over here like this, overlapping a little bit. So what do we think? Negative 1.5 would mean they're perfectly, like, just touching. I don't want that. I want some overlap. I think 1.4 maybe. It's probably pretty good. Okay. Could try that. And then there's going to be another one. Segment right. And this is going to be over in the opposite direction. There we go. Okay. Now, let's go back and look How big is this now? Pretty big. I think it's pretty good. Okay. They do look a little narrow when they're that long. We could adjust this slightly, like maybe make them like 1.4 each. Of course, this is going to be a little annoying. I'm going to fix this later. So we'll leave it cheesy for now. 1.4 divided by 2. Okay. And this one now, let's make this negative 1.3. Make this one 1.3. Okay. Okay. Now, so the idea is that I'm going to attach these two ones on the side with kind of a hinge. Okay, so let's add a configurable joint. And this is going to be attached to the rigid body that's kind of like the parent one, the kinematic one. Okay, now if you look here, you can see these weird little arrows. And what we want is, we want to be like, oh, not that far. Yeah, now the supports on the parallel bars are usually kind of off towards the edges, like maybe here-ish. Okay, and then our main axis is going to be the hinge axis, so that needs to be Z, like that. And auto-configure the connected anchor, that's good. Secondary axis doesn't really matter in this case, so we'll leave it pointing, let's make it point in the main direction of the bar. Okay. So motion along the x-axis is locked. All motion is locked, actually. Unless we want to give it a little give. But let's try it locked first. Okay, that should make a hinge. And now we actually can say we don't want any of the rotation around anything except the x-axis. Okay. Now, and that's pretty much it for that. So let's leave that. In fact, let's go back. And if we run this now, we should see that the two on the right kind of like fly off into space. And here, let's just add a bar so we can observe. Okay, cool. So we've got a hinge going there, and the other two just fell. That's what I was expecting. Now, let's go back into the prefab. Okay. So this joint, we want a similar joint here. Like that, but this is going to be 0.2 off in the other direction, like that. Reset that. Okay. So now we got hinges connecting those two, and now we want this. Yeah, we want a little bend and flex in this thing, so this joint here is going to need to be slightly springy. So let's add a configurable joint. We're going to connect it to the left-hand side. Okay, now we want this to be connected, kind of like right. Let's see, it should be what? 1.3 divided by 2? Yeah, 0.65, okay. Same thing we're going to want. It's less important on this one, but let's put this going 0, 0, 1, so pointing in that direction. And yeah, up is fine for that. Now, X motion. So in this case, we're going to put a spring. So we want motion and angular motion to be free. And then we want, yeah, actually, we're just going to let this thing stretch. So let's change this. We want our main axis to be pointing in. So that's X. We're not going to allow any movement in the other directions. And we will allow rotation around the secondary axis, which should be Y. So this should be locked. This should be locked, I think. And now we want an X drive. So let's put in a spring here. Let's do like standard starting point, spring of 1,000, damper of 50. Okay. And that's it. And then we want the same thing. We want basically a copy of this joint, but connected to the right and off like that. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Okay. That's something. So obviously the spring is pretty weak right now. Also, what was the deal there? Oh, I don't even have a grabbable on here. I'm just colliding with this thing right now, so that's stupid, but okay. Okay. I'm a little worried about the setup here. If this is the smartest way to do this, I probably should overlap them a little more. Let's do that. Yeah. Like that. Okay, so they're overlapping more now. And then these joints are going to need to be updated a little bit. We're going to connect them right at 0.6. And I'm thinking, do I let flex happen? Well, let's leave it like this and try it real quick. So 0.6 there and 0.6 there. And let's try cranking up our springs quite a bit. Let's make this more like 30,000. And this will be more like 1,000. Okay. Let's test it. Okay, I'm still not grabbing onto it. Okay, behavior-wise, that's a little closer. Still not strong enough. But I know how we can improve that. Okay, first off, let's make it so we can grab this thing again. So all three of these need this grabbable script. Let's move it up to the top. Okay, so each one of them has a grabbable script now. And we want that. We want local grab axis is in the X direction. And the bar half length needs to be what, 0.6? Yeah. 0.6, 0.65. Okay. And this was what, 0.25? Yeah. Okay, should be able to grab it now. And now what we're going to do is these joints on the left and right, we're going to make them want to come back to level, which is actually surprisingly easy because we turn on slurp drive and we want them to be at their own sort of we want them to rotate back to the orientation they were when they were created, which would be 0. So we just need to give this some, let's do like maybe like 15. These don't need to be that strong. Let's make these like 10,000 as a test, and then 500 on the damper. Yeah, and then we go here, slurp drive, 1,500 is out ahead. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Okay, we can catch on to it. And it's got some give. Right. Now later I'll make this like a skin mesh or something so it bends smoothly. But this is what the underlying physics. Ooh, that's pretty good. Now let's try grabbing it closer to where the hinges are. Okay, so there's like no give here. That's right where the support will be. Makes sense. I know, but if I flip here, woo, grab it in the middle. Okay, that's a little weird. Can get in a scenario there that's a little funky. Why is that? Are we suddenly colliding with something here? Yeah, it's when I grabbed right at the joint. It does not like that. What's the deal? I think it's because, yeah. So this rigid body is set to be on the layer of collide with hand only. Once the hand here has collided but grabbed onto this other bar, now the hand is actively colliding with this other rigid body. So for example, if I set this to be no collision, there we go, see it pops back. Okay, so we're gonna have to work on that. It's probably still a little bit too flexible. But yeah, it's a little too flimsy, but not bad. Of course, I turned off the collision there, so I can't grab it back. Okay. Alright. Alright, we're coming up at about an hour. My plan is to make these streams about an hour long, so we made pretty good progress on these parallel bars. We'll pick this up again next time and start making these behave and look a little better. And looks like according to my stream here, I had 1 viewer, so thanks for watching. And I'll probably also post this perhaps onto YouTube, we'll see. And see you next time.